Thank you. So what are some of the ideas that you find in jazz improvisation? I can't talk about everything that you find in there, but some of the most common things that you find in jazz improvisations are things like extended arpeggios, enclosures. I'm making this video with the assumption that you know about scales already, how to build chords. If you don't know any of that, I do have videos available for you to see. But for this video, I'm mainly focusing on some of the ideas and concepts that are found within jazz records that make jazz a language. I want to talk about extended arpeggios, how to land a line or resolve a line, because you can have all of the concepts and ideas, but if you can't finish off a line neatly, then it's kind of a sentence that's not complete. And then the third thing I want to talk about are licks. Contrary to what some people may say, that you must create your own lines and do all of that, I think that they're lying. And I think that you definitely need to learn licks, because you have to say a language the way it's been said first before you can create your own voice within the language. So it's also a way to respect the form. For me, the way that I learned jazz, no one really told me, do arpeggios and then do this week. Next week we're going to work on enclosures. Next week we're going to work on... No one really taught me that. At varsity, I can safely say 95% of what I learned was through transcription. These things like extended arpeggios and all of this are things that I found by listening. Extended arpeggios. The standard arpeggios that we're going to look at are the ones that happen over a major 7 chord and a minor 7 chord. For major 7, you want to extend up to the major 7 from the root. This would be the root, but there's always an auxiliary note that happens when you see these extended arpeggios in jazz. So an auxiliary note a half step below. But the arpeggio can also happen from the 3rd, which would take you up to a major 9 chord. Right, again we have this auxiliary note below the 3rd. And I'm working over How High the Moon. I like to work over this tune because it's got a bunch of 2/5s that help me practice some of the things that I'm working on. But How High the Moon starts on G major, so we have a G major 7 chord, which we can arpeggiate from the root with the auxiliary note or from the 3rd with the auxiliary note. And How High the Moon then does minor 2/5 to the major chord whole tone below, and then it does the same thing, 2/5 to E flat major, which is another whole tone below. So we have G as a key center, then we have F major as a key center, then we have E flat as a key center. You can find the song in the real book. For minor 7 chords, we want to arpeggiate from the 3rd or from the 5. Again, we have the auxiliary note a half step below. This would take me up to the minor 9 from the 3rd, and from the 5 it takes me to minor 11. And these are the 2 that are most common that you will need. Now I want to use these all over the song and see how I can, fit them in. So here we go with the song. The second thing that was important for me to talk about in this video is how to land a line. So how to resolve. I think that's not really taught generally in jazz, but it's important to actually resolve a line. And typically that happens on the third, major or minor third, or the fifth of a chord that you are approaching. So that would be, that's an example of a line that you would find maybe on a record. So that's resolving from, if we are in G major, we would do 4, 5 to the 3. So da da da, or you play something, and then you resolve by doing oh. And another nice way of landing is with the altered dominant 5 chord, which would be oh. So this kind of thing that you would find in jazz. That's a very typical line that you will find. And with this altered dominant, it assumes that chord 5 is altered, so there would be a flat 9 and a sharp 9 in that chord. So we use the flat 9 and the sharp 9 to resolve to the 5 of the chord. Now I try to do the same thing in the next key. Right, and you can play it in different ways. It can be da 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 or da 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 or or so. And the third thing I want to talk about is licks. Licks are so important. Firstly, what I would actually do with the lick is take it through all 12 keys. This allows my muscle memory to be at work, and also my cognitive awareness, so that when I'm playing a song, whatever song, at any moment I'm able to say, oh, okay, this is an opportunity to put it in, but also my fingers are ready, you know. So it's about working yourself out by doing all 12 keys, but also making your mind aware of how to navigate this new line or phrase or idea that you're working on. So it's super important to be able to play whatever you're working on in all 12 keys. And I'm actually going to take a lick that I should have probably learned in first year, and I thought it was so cheesy because everyone was doing it. But looking back, after having played so many different types of lines and things like that, I'm like, actually, this is actually quite a nice line and I like it. So it's this one. It's actually a great line. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to try to put it everywhere over the song. Also, another tip with improvisation, whatever line or lick you're doing, it doesn't always have to land perfectly in time when chord 1 hits the first beat. You can play the line into the bar, like over, you know, the whole thing. As long as I can see that that section is in G major, I can pretty much play that that 2/5 lick over that whole section. Now to round it off, what we want to do is use the resources that we have. You should never use the excuse that oh, I don't know enough, I don't have enough tools or knowledge when it comes to jazz to create a good solo, because what you do with the little that you have is the same thing that you will do when you have a lot. You'll complain. So you should be able to play a good melody even with 3 ideas. I've only given you 3 ideas here, but I'm going to try to be creative with them and create a good melody. You don't have to play a lot of notes, but you have to play notes, or at least try to play notes that work with the progression that you have. So I'm using extended arpeggios. Try to land the song well, the line well, and licks. I'm going to use that one lick that we did.